Welcome, Idaho Wit here, and I'm just going to walk you through some of my tailwheel training. I've had about 3.7 hours so far, and I'm going on a 1.3 hour training session focused on landings. Yes, forgot to turn on my GoPro. Got it set. Getting back in the airplane, which is never that easy in these planes. This is a Maule M-4-1969 220C the Strata Rocket. Here I'm just lining up, concentrating very heavily on keeping my feet light on the rudders and making sure that I don't ground loop, which is your fear number one as a new tailwheel student. Alright, we get her up in the air. You hear, if you were in the cockpit, you would hear my instructor yelling, right rudder, millions of times today. But it's alright, I'll get it. Practicing some slow flight, just want to feel how the plane reacts. And it's been about 2 months since I flew this airplane. So getting comfortable again, trying to figure out how to keep the flight coordinated. The flaps, for some reason on this airplane, don't engage full unless you really slow the airplane down. So we need to fix that. Anyways, got the flaps in there now, just practicing nice easy stall. Stall training complete, feeling more comfortable. You as a, I think I have about 200 hours now, but you really understand how great it is to fly those Cessnas because they fly very coordinated. You get in this Maule and you are constantly on the rudder pedals, keeping it. Alright, here's my first attempt at a wheel landing, coming in really just trying to fly over the runway, and if I touch down, I touch down. Kind of running out of runway here, and I think just barely touched down, but let's get out of here. May as well do a little go around here and try it again. Alright, second wheel landing attempt. Coming in, trick here that from the last one I was really bouncing my landings, but coming in here and adding a little bit of power to kind of keep it and just kind of try to hold it off the runway. This was a little bouncy rodeo. I kind of turned it into a 3-point landing there, but hey, we got her on the ground and I wasn't too crazy uncoordinated, so he let me land it there. Here's my second takeoff, getting lined up, getting a little speed, pushing forward, getting that nose wheel off the ground, which is an amazing feeling. I mostly just fly, well, I trained in a 172 and fly a 182 mostly, so this tailwheel thing is a blast. I watch all these backcountry videos. I live in Idaho, so I really want to explore more of the backcountry. The 182 gets pretty much any of the backcountry strips that I should be flying into right now, but eventually I want to fly into others. Alright, here's my second wheel landing attempt. Coming in, keeping it lined up, and here we touch it, and now you notice I finally push forward. See if I was like, didn't know how long you're going to wait until you push forward. So push forward, get it so you're just rolling down, and then bleed off your speed and let that tail wheel drop. Tail wheel drops, pull back on the yoke to keep it on the ground. Third attempt, no, these are all successful takeoffs. Taking off here, again, concentrating on a little crosswind in there, so slowly taking out the crosswind control so when I take off I don't completely dip the wing or the wing. Here's my fourth attempt at a wheel landing. Again, just trying to kiss the pavement, let it just touch, sink, floated a little bit there, and found it. Not too big of a bounce, but I had used a lot of runway there, so I just figured I'd go around. Coming back in here, starting a little closer to the start of the runway, which is better, and touch there, didn't bounce too bad, keeping it lined up, keeping it yoke pushed forward, and then letting the speed bleed off, and letting that tail wheel plop down to the ground. You see, you're just dancing on those rudder pedals. Yeah, by the end of this training, my feet were a little tired from using so much rudder. But hey, that's what you get in this Maule. Taking off here. None of the takeoffs are too eventful, thank goodness. Starting to feel more comfortable about going down the runway on 2 wheels instead of a tricycle 3-wheel, which is a little bit more challenging, but we're getting there. Alright, another wheel landing attempt coming in here. And again, just a little bit of power there adding in at the end to just kind of hold it off of the runway and let it just softly touch versus training session number 3 where I was bouncing it and go around, bouncing it and go around. Alright, we landed here. That one was acceptable. Let that nose wheel, or tail wheel, sorry, I call it nose wheel. Tail wheel touch down, and stay on the runway. And here's my final takeoff of session number 4. Lined up on this Maule, you take off with the first degree of flaps. It really just has 2 degrees of flaps. One notch is 20, the second notch is 40. Of course, 40 doesn't work for me, so I'm been landing at 20 because I don't want to get down to really slow speeds on final and have to get slow to really throw the 40 degrees of flaps in. So we've just been training in this Maule on 20 degrees of flaps. Right rudder. Starting to get that. Alright, finishing off, wanted to do a 3-point landing. I practiced those the time before, and you kind of start with the 3-point landings and then you move to the tail wheel. Yeah, I brought it in STOL style there, just, you see him bounce that. But no, I didn't try to do that. But I did hit the back wheel, the tail wheel first, and then brings your mains down, which, as a STOL pilot, right, you can hit the tail wheel first before the line, and as long as your mains don't land in front of the line, you're good. Yeah. I love watching the videos of the tail drivers and backcountry flying. Alright, gonna go in, fill up so I can write down full fuel on the logbook, getting out, hit my head, and turning off.